Hi everybody, I thought it would be a good time just to touch base and share with you where we are currently, messages that we received from Public Health England, and share with you dates for your diary for this term, so things that we can look forward to. So starting with the coronavirus situation at school, I know there's been quite a lot of questions, quite a lot of rumours, so I just thought we'll do a quick video just to share that with you. So we're continuing to do well in terms of schooling. We're continuing to be vigilant in terms of spotting symptoms, rigorous in our cleaning and sanitisation, and not taking any risks when it comes to whether we may have been in contact with anybody who's tested positive. We are, of course, continuing to work really closely with the Department of Education and Public Health England, and we meet with Public Health England on a weekly basis to ensure that we've got a good understanding about trends in the city and up-to-date actions that we can be taking and the new messages that are coming out, because things are changing weekly. So firstly, as an important message from Public Health England, the numbers are rising in the city. So they wanted us to share with you that the numbers are rising in the city in general, and the number of positive tests are rising. With that, so are hospital admissions. So they've asked us to beg, plead with you, to ask you to take this lockdown really seriously, particularly as we are so close to how it looks getting a vaccine. If we can maintain our social distancing, avoid mixing with groups, so we can see if we can reduce the rates so that we can have some kind of Christmas together. But most importantly, that we can save people from being poorly and lower the number of deaths. So really important message there from Public Health England. Fortunately, schools, particularly primary schools, continue to be very safe places. There is very little evidence, in fact, there is no evidence of transmission in primary schools between staff and pupils to pupils. And that is really, really good. And it's due to the many measures that are in place and the really good vigilance of both yourselves and us to make sure that we're not taking any risks. The biggest danger continues to be adults bringing it in, so please can I stress the importance of us all of keeping our distance, particularly when we're on the playground, and wearing face masks if we can. Again, we look as though this is going to be our last wave, so let's make it as safe as possible for everybody. An update on cases at parks. Well, before half term, as you know, we had to close a class for 3 days due to a pupil testing positive. However, since then, we've been fortunate not to lose any valuable learning time. And that's because we've had no further positive cases that have occurred in school. Last week, we did have 3 members of staff who needed to isolate, and I know that worried a few parents who thought that must mean that they've got coronavirus. None of them had coronavirus. They were isolating either because a person in the household had got symptoms or somebody in the household had tested positive. We will not take any risks, and staff will not come in, or they will be sent home immediately if there is any danger that somebody may have coronavirus. So if a member of the household has symptoms, they will go home. All of those members of staff have tests, and they all tested negative. So they did that in line with the guidance. All members of the staff were then could then consider coming back to school. Now, one of them could return after a few days because it was their child who had symptoms. They tested negative, and so they could come back to work. But 2 did need to isolate for 14 days due to family members testing positive. So that's family members in 2 different households, 2 different members of staff. But at that point, when they left our school, both of them were negative. Unfortunately, 1 member of those staff on day 10 did develop symptoms, went for a test, and is now positive. Fortunate for school and learning, that hasn't impacted on the pupils or the staff, as the teacher has not been in school for 10 days and was initially negative. The other member of staff also tested before returning and remained negative. So she completed her isolation and now has returned back to school. The member of staff who tested positive, you'll be glad to know, is well, and I'm sure will return once her 10 days is finished. And Public Health England say that it is safe for her to do so. We've had a small number of parents test positive, so please wear masks on that playground. and their children have been isolating. Most have completed their isolation and have returned, but 3, whilst isolating at home, did catch the virus. They did test positive, but again, this didn't impact on the classes. They'd not been in school prior to the positive test because they were already isolating because they were living with a member of the family who was positive. I would really like to thank the parents and carers for being so vigilant and following the isolating protocol, as this is definitely helping us keep us all safe and learning. So thank you very much to all the parents. So that's that in terms of coronavirus. So we're in a very good situation. So this term, how we're going to maintain our smiles as we get through, hopefully, this last phase where we're on lockdown. So this Friday, we're going to celebrate Children in Need. So the children can dress up or wear non-school uniform, and they can pay 50p to do that. If, however, they don't have 50p, and we are really aware at the moment that this time is very hard for parents and for families financially. So what we're saying is, everybody can dress up, everybody can wear non-uniform, but if you can donate, all of that money will go towards Children in Need. They can also design a face mask, and the face mask outline was on the back of the letter. And we're doing walking a mile every day this week as part of our daily mile, making sure we all do a mile, and they can collect sponsors for that. And again, everybody will take part. If you can donate some funds towards that, it will all go towards Children in Need. But if you can't, absolutely understandable, and we will make sure that everybody takes part irrespective of funds. We're also having a Christmas jumper day in December, where we will put on our Christmas jumpers, and we're going to do that on the day that we're actually going to record our carol service, so that will be quite nice. And we are doing a book camp. It's going to be a book camp with a difference. It will be a book camp in school hours. So we will be telling the children all about that this week. And so the children will hopefully continue to work really hard to achieve their reading targets. As I said, we will be having a carol service. Again, it's going to be a carol service with a difference because we can't get together and sing, but we can sing as classes. So each class are going to learn a carol. They're going to sing their carol. We're going to video them. We're going to put it together with some interspersed with some readings, and that will go onto our website and Seesaw for all those children who are allowed on that. We are about to send out a new letter, just in case you want your child to be part of that video, even though normally you wouldn't want them to be put on a website. Absolutely okay for you to say, no, I'd still prefer them not to be on, go onto the internet or onto the website, and we will obviously obey that and make sure that they're not part of the song when we video it. So another massive part of Christmas, which we can't do without, is our Nativity Plays. So the nursery reception in Year 1 will be doing a nativity. Again, it's going to be a nativity with a difference, because for Year 1 and 2 in particular, they're going to do them as a class. And we can't invite you in, unfortunately. However, we will be videoing it, and we will be placing it on a private YouTube account, so that not everybody can get it, only those people who are part of Parks Primary School, and it will also go onto Facebook. And again, you may be thinking, well, actually, my child therefore can't be part of that nativity play because they can't go onto video. Again, we will make sure that everybody's part of it, and we'll be sending out a letter to say, if you would like them to be part of the video and have access to those videos of their nativity play, then just sign the letter and we will give them permission to go onto the video for this purpose and this purpose only. So that's how we're going to do it. If your child isn't part of the video, then you won't get access, obviously, to that nativity play, and that just falls in with the GDPR regulations. So finally, what I'd like to say is thank you for your continued support. We're doing all we can to keep everything running as smoothly as possible, to keep everything as jolly as possible in quite crazy times. Please be mindful that your staff are working really hard. So they are preparing remote learning for those children who are isolating at home. They are also teaching, obviously, lessons full time during the day for the ones that are coming into school. They're making sure that areas are clean throughout the day, and all of that takes up quite a lot of their break times, and they're having to work many other hours. Of course, we are not complaining. because we would much rather the situation be as it is and that we are open. Also be mindful that at times your staff may be absent and they may be covered by other members of staff within the school. And we're able to do that. It has got tight at times where we're kind of running out of staff, but we're going to do our best to make sure that we can keep classes running as normal, even when people are having to isolate. So thank you. Thank you for working with us, for supporting us, for being really, really vigilant, and hopefully we can continue to have a very fun and successful autumn term. Thank you very much for your time.